What if I told you that love, the thing you thought would save you, is actually the very thing that almost destroyed you? When love is overwhelming, it consumes you, it blinds you, it makes you lose yourself, chasing someone who doesn't chase you back. But what if the very thing tearing you apart, the pain, the loss, wasn't a sign of weakness, but a hidden opportunity to rebuild? Coldness, the kind of detachment that feels brutal at first, can actually be the very force that brings you back stronger. The power doesn't lie in chasing after her, begging for her attention. It lies in regaining control over yourself, in learning how to let go, and in becoming someone so strong that nothing, not even love, can take you down. Pain is power, if you know how to use it. If you're ready to stop being consumed by emotion and start becoming the man who controls his destiny, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I control my destiny, not my emotions. Let's dive in. Number 1. The illusion of unreciprocated love, when devotion becomes destruction. You gave her everything, your time, your loyalty, your heart. You saw her as the center of your world, placed her on a pedestal, and loved without limits. But in doing so, you forgot one critical thing. Love without boundaries often leads to self-erasure. When your love is unconditional, but hers is based on convenience, the dynamic becomes toxic, not just for the relationship, but for your identity. The Stoics warned against seeking value from anything outside yourself. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, stop seeking validation from others, especially from someone who doesn't meet your loyalty with equal effort. When you treat someone as a prize without requiring mutual respect, you don't win them over, you lose yourself. And once she senses you're willing to give everything without question, the challenge dies, and with it, so does the respect. Think of it like this. If a rare coin is handed to you for free, it loses its perceived worth. But when something is earned, fought for, it becomes invaluable. You weren't meant to be worshipping someone who doesn't earn your reverence. You were meant to be discerning, measured, and self-respecting. Love is not about sacrifice at all costs. It's about shared value. Here's the opportunity. Reclaim your sense of worth by placing yourself back at the center of your own life. Stop giving your devotion to someone who hasn't shown they deserve it. Focus instead on rebuilding the identity you sacrificed. Pour your energy into things that make you stronger, your body, your mind, your craft. You don't need her to see your worth. You need to see it first. What can you do? Begin drawing boundaries. Stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop overgiving. Love doesn't mean submission. It means recognizing when it's time to walk away from a dynamic that diminishes you. Reaffirm your standards and require anyone in your life to rise to meet them. When you do this, not only do you gain back your dignity, you become impossible to ignore. Psychologically, this change reverses the power dynamic. Instead of being someone who is always available, you become someone who is valued by those who truly understand your worth. And if she ever comes back, it won't be because you begged. It will be because she remembered what she lost. If you're ready to stop worshipping and start respecting yourself, comment below. I protect my value. It's not up for negotiation. Number 2. Emotional chaos is not strength. Why control makes you irresistible. You feel the urge rising. Texting too soon, double messaging, checking her status the moment it updates. Maybe you even start overthinking why she hasn't replied, replaying every word she said. You think being emotionally available proves how much you care. But in reality, these knee-jerk reactions only make you appear unstable, overwhelmed by feelings you haven't mastered. And the harsh truth? Emotional chaos kills attraction. The Stoics never said not to feel. Marcus Aurelius himself battled doubt and fear, but what set him apart was his refusal to be ruled by them. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's your call to rise. It's not about suppressing emotion, it's about choosing not to let it drive your behavior. That's the line between maturity and desperation. Think of a fire. If left unchecked, it destroys, but when contained, it heats, it powers, it purifies. Your emotions are the same. Women aren't repelled by feeling, they're repelled by volatility. When you become the kind of man who feels deeply but remains composed, you radiate something rare, grounded confidence. And in a world of men chasing wildly, that calm becomes magnetic. Here's your opportunity. Start treating every emotional impulse as a test. When you want to reach out impulsively, breathe. When jealousy hits, pause. When frustration rises, move. Physically, mentally, channel it into action. Go to the gym, create something, work on a goal. Use the energy, don't waste it. Each time you choose discipline over reaction, you build a stronger version of yourself. What can you do today? Try this. When you feel emotionally overwhelmed, set a 30-minute delay before doing anything. In that time, write out what you want to say, but don't send it. Train yourself to be still before you speak. You're not cutting off emotion, you're learning to command it. That ability doesn't just protect your peace, it builds deep, lasting respect. Psychologically, this shift is powerful. She may not know why you suddenly feel different, but she'll sense it. You no longer give away your energy freely. You've stopped being predictable, and that unpredictability, rooted in calm strength, will draw her attention again. Not because you're chasing, but because you've stopped needing anything at all. If you're ready to stop reacting and start leading, comment below. I feel everything, but I answer with control. Number 3. Distance creates desire. How detachment fuels attraction. You used to be always available, texting back instantly, showing up at her convenience, being the emotional safety net she could rely on. But over time, that constant presence turned into white noise. She stopped noticing. Worse, she stopped valuing. In love, what is abundant becomes expected, and what is expected becomes ignored. That's where detachment comes in, not as punishment, but as power. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus taught that dependence on anything external, whether it's people, outcomes, or attention, leads to vulnerability. Detachment doesn't mean being cold or emotionless, it means creating space. Space for her to wonder, space for you to regain your clarity, space for attraction to breathe again. When you step back, you force a shift in dynamic. Suddenly, your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. Picture someone drinking water non-stop. They won't appreciate it until the glass is empty. The moment you remove your attention, your affection, your emotional investment, you become rare again. And in human psychology, rarity increases value. She won't consciously realize it at first, but the shift in your energy will cause questions to arise. Why has he gone quiet? What's changed? Who is he becoming without me? Here's the opportunity. Detach with dignity. You're not ghosting. You're not being passive-aggressive. You're simply withdrawing your energy and redirecting it toward yourself, your goals, your growth. You stop giving without receiving. You stop being the emotional crutch. You become elusive, hard to read, and that makes you captivating again. What can you do? Reduce unnecessary contact. Don't offer emotional check-ins. Don't announce your detachment. Just live it. And while doing so, fill the void with purpose. Build your body, refine your craft, expand your mind. The more focused you become on you, the more her mind will start focusing back on you, because detachment creates contrast, and contrast sparks curiosity. Psychologically, this tactic breaks patterns. Where she once assumed your presence, she now feels your distance, and what was once ignored is now missed. You become less of a memory and more of a mystery. And in love, mystery is irresistible. If you're ready to make distance your superpower, comment below. I detach to regain my center. Number 4, stop asking why, accept what is, and rise anyway. When she walked away, your mind likely spun in endless circles. Why did she leave? What did I do wrong? Wasn't I enough? You keep dissecting moments, searching for the reason that might finally bring you peace. But here's the truth. There may never be a satisfying answer, and the more you chase one, the more you tie your healing to her. That's not clarity, it's captivity. The Stoics warned against obsessing over what's outside of our control. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The question isn't why she left, it's what you'll do with the space she left behind. The moment you shift your energy from analysis to acceptance, you reclaim power. You stop living in her story, and you start writing your own again. Think of it like this. A traveler stuck staring at a locked door, pounding on it, demanding answers. Meanwhile, behind him, a dozen open paths wait, full of potential, growth, and freedom. But he never sees them, because he's so fixated on the past. You've stared at that door long enough. It's time to turn around. Here's your opportunity. Embrace radical acceptance. Stop demanding closure. Stop needing her to explain or apologize. Let the unanswered questions remain unanswered, and move anyway. You don't need a reason to heal, you just need a direction, and that direction begins the moment you stop letting her choices define your next move. What can you do when the questions come, when your brain spirals into why again? Replace them with what now? Write down a list of actions that serve you: physical goals, financial goals, creative goals. Each time the past tries to pull you in, return to your list. You are not a man who waits for explanations. You are a man who acts in spite of them. Psychologically, this breaks the dependency loop. She no longer holds the key to your peace. And in removing that power from her hands, you elevate yourself. You become untouchable, not because you don't feel, but because you choose to rise regardless of the story. If you're ready to stop chasing closure and start creating progress, comment below. I let go of why and build what's next. Number 5. The mirror never lies. Healing starts with you. It's easy to point outward when love falls apart. You blame her coldness, her silence, her sudden shift. But rarely do we turn inward and ask the harder question. Why did I allow myself to be consumed by someone who didn't value me? You weren't just hurt by her departure, you were broken by your own decision to abandon yourself in the process. That's where the real healing begins. The Stoics were unapologetically inward-facing. Marcus Aurelius didn't journal about fixing others, he wrote about fixing himself. He knew that no enemy is more dangerous than the one within. You see, the reason heartbreak cuts so deeply isn't just loss. It's self-betrayal. You gave too much. You forgot your standards. You hoped your loyalty would be enough to make her stay. But love that demands your dignity isn't love. It's dependence. Think of your reflection in a mirror. At your lowest, it's not her you're ashamed of. It's the man looking back. The one who tolerated less, who gave more than he received, who hoped when he should have walked away. But here's the truth. That reflection isn't fixed. You can rebuild him, stronger, sharper, unshakable. Here's the opportunity. Make healing about you, not her, not the past, not revenge. You don't need closure from her, you need a commitment to yourself. One that says, I will never lose myself like that again. And then you take action. Start with your body, train with intention, fix your finances, level up your skills, become the kind of man who commands respect not just from others, but from himself. What can you do? Ask yourself daily, what would the healed version of me do right now? Then act accordingly. Would he beg for attention or hit the gym? Would he dwell on what went wrong or build something that makes it all worth it? Let that future version of you guide today's choices, one small action at a time. Psychologically, this flips the narrative. She no longer becomes the source of your pain, you become the author of your recovery, and in doing so you take back everything you gave away, your power, your pride, your peace. If you're ready to face the mirror and rebuild from the inside out, comment below. I lost myself for her, but I'm rising for me. Number 6. Respect, earned through ice, why coldness commands attention. There's a part of you that thinks being warm, forgiving, and endlessly available will win her back, that kindness will soften her heart. But here's the hard truth. When warmth isn't matched with respect, it becomes weakness in her eyes. The more you try to please, the more invisible you become. She doesn't need your comfort, she needs to feel your absence of need. The Stoics weren't cold out of spite, they were cold to remain in control. Marcus Aurelius didn't advocate cruelty, but he taught that boundaries are essential. Without them, people lose respect. When you stop reacting, when you go silent, not to punish, but to protect yourself, you create the emotional contrast she didn't expect. And that contrast makes her pay attention. Picture it, a blazing fire that once gave warmth, now reduced to glowing embers. Quiet, contained, powerful. You're still there, but you no longer burn for her. That shift forces a re-evaluation. She begins to wonder why you've stopped caring, why the man who once poured out affection now keeps his distance. That mystery, born from your cold restraint, reignites her awareness of your value. Here's your opportunity. Replace emotional exposure with quiet discipline. Let her feel the shift without you explaining it. Stop chasing, stop checking in, stop filling the silence. Let your stillness speak. Don't explain your new energy, live it. True coldness isn't hostility, it's presence without dependency. It's confidence without performance. What can you do? Whenever you're tempted to be overly nice, stop and ask, am I doing this from strength or from fear? If it's the latter, don't act. Stay still, say less, do more for yourself. The more detached you are, the more power you regain. Let her feel what it's like to miss the version of you she thought would always be there. Psychologically, this is a turning point. The moment you stop trying to earn her attention is the moment she starts to wonder why you don't need it anymore. That's how you shift the power, without words, without games, just by refusing to betray your dignity for connection. If you're ready to stop being overly available and start being deeply respected, comment below. My silence is not spite, it's self-respect. Number 7. Vanishing value, when your absence teaches more than your words. You tried everything to be there for her, checking in, showing up, being present through every mood swing and silent treatment. You believed that your constant presence was proof of love, but what you didn't see was how familiarity slowly turned into disregard. When someone sees you as always available, they stop appreciating you. That's human nature. And in the Stoic world, what's abundant loses value, what's rare is revered. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." But gratitude fades when effort isn't met with boundaries. The more she felt your presence without having to earn it, the less she saw you. You became routine, expected, and then taken for granted. But here's the twist. When you finally disappear, your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. Think of a song that plays every day. Eventually, you stop listening. But the moment it's gone, silence feels unfamiliar, even unsettling. That's what happens when you remove your energy from someone's life. The jokes stop, the check-ins disappear, the emotional safety net vanishes. Suddenly, she's not annoyed by your presence, she's confused by your absence. Here's your opportunity. Don't try to make her notice you. Don't post cryptic quotes or check her stories. Just go quiet. Not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. Detach. Disappear. Focus your energy inward, toward growth, progress, stillness. Let her world adjust to your absence, and when it does, she'll feel the weight of everything she overlooked. What can you do? Audit where your energy has been leaking. Cut off communication that feels like begging for validation. Stop offering emotional labor to someone who isn't earning it. Then reinvest that energy into the gym, into your craft, into people who uplift you. Let your absence become your message. Psychologically, this triggers re-evaluation. When the person who was always there is suddenly gone, the brain fills in the silence with curiosity and doubt. Why isn't he reaching out? What changed? Did I lose him? That mystery leads to reflection, and reflection leads to regret. You won't have to say a word. The silence will do it for you. If you're ready to let your absence teach the lesson your words never could, comment below. I don't disappear to punish. I disappear to be remembered. Number 8. Don't block her, outgrow her. When a relationship ends, there's an impulse to cut ties completely. You might think about blocking her, unfollowing her, scrubbing all traces of her from your life. It feels like taking control, like slamming a door. But often, blocking is just emotional theater, an attempt to get a reaction, to prove you're done. True growth doesn't require a performance. It requires silence, discipline, and evolution. The Stoics would never advise chasing revenge or attention. Epictetus taught that your energy should never be wasted on people who no longer belong in your circle, but he also warned against reactionary behavior. Blocking her might feel powerful, but what's more powerful is when she can see your life and realizes she no longer fits in it. Picture two paths, one where you slam the door so loudly she turns to look, another where you walk away so far she can no longer see you. One is noise, the other is transformation. You don't need to block her, you need to become unreachable. Not by cutting her off, but by leveling up so far, so fast, that who you are today doesn't even recognize who you were with her. Here's your opportunity. Stop playing emotional chess. Stop trying to control the narrative. Focus entirely on becoming undeniable. Let her see your success. Let her watch your life grow, and realize she's not part of it anymore. That hurts more than a block ever could. You're not deleting her. You're replacing her in relevance. What can you do? Next time you're tempted to block or lash out, pause. Ask yourself, am I acting from pain or from power? Then choose the higher path. Start stacking wins. Build your routine. Show up consistently for yourself. Let your progress say what your ego wants to scream. Growth is not petty, it's permanent. Psychologically, this shift dismantles the drama. She can't say you're bitter or reactive. She sees you moving on without fanfare, without spite. And that silence will haunt her far more than a blocked notification. You didn't just move on, you moved up. If you're ready to outgrow her instead of reacting to her, comment below. I don't block doors. I build new worlds. Number 9. Never lose your frame again. Control is the real attraction. Every time she pulled away, you overcompensated. You explained too much, tried too hard, apologized for things that weren't your fault. And in doing so, you gave away the one thing that made you attractive in the first place, your frame. The emotional foundation you were supposed to stand on, calm, composed, clear, crumbled the moment she changed her tone. And she felt it. The Stoics called it ataraxia, an unshakable inner peace. Marcus Aurelius didn't beg for approval. He reminded himself, you have power over your mind. That's what keeping your frame means. It's not about being emotionless, it's about never letting someone else's chaos control your center. The moment your self-worth becomes tied to her reactions, you've already lost the dynamic. Imagine being the anchor in a storm. Boats can drift, winds can howl, but the anchor doesn't move. That's your frame. When she pushes, you don't panic. When she pulls, you don't chase. You stay rooted. Not because you don't care, but because you care more about self-respect than temporary connection. Here's the opportunity. Rebuild your frame brick by brick. Start with your principles. What do you stand for, no matter who's watching? Then, reinforce them through action. Stop explaining yourself to be accepted. Stop molding yourself to her moods. The more you maintain your emotional structure, the more magnetic you become. Not to everyone, but to those who truly recognize strength. What can you do? The next time you feel the urge to overreact or over-explain, pause. Ask, does this action protect or betray my frame? If it betrays it, don't do it. Silence is often stronger than justification. Presence is more powerful than persuasion. And detachment? Psychologically, regaining your frame rewires the power dynamic. She may not understand the shift, but she'll feel it. You're no longer reacting, you're responding. You're no longer negotiating your worth, you're defining it. And that steadiness creates both curiosity and respect. She's no longer in control of your emotions, and that changes everything. If you're ready to lead from stability, not emotion, comment below. My frame is my foundation. I never lose it again. Number 10. Cold is the cure. How discipline heals what emotion couldn't. You tried being warm, you tried being kind, you gave her patience, softness, forgiveness, hoping she'd see your heart and stay. But warmth without boundaries doesn't heal, it wounds. And now the very energy that made you lovable is the one that left you broken. It's time to stop thinking that softness will save you. It won't. What will? Cold, calculated self-respect. Stoicism isn't about emotional numbness. It's about emotional mastery. Marcus Aurelius didn't tell himself to feel nothing. He reminded himself to feel deeply, but never be ruled by what he felt. That's the discipline you need now. Not to become heartless, but to become untouchable. Your emotions are still real, but they no longer get to drive your decisions. Picture a steel wall. Weathered, worn, but unbreakable. That's who you become when you choose cold over chaos. You stop sending texts, you stop checking her profile, you stop fantasizing about what if. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you've started healing. Discipline is now your language. Movement is now your message. No drama, no desperate reactions, just forward motion. Here's your opportunity. Commit to radical self-control. No more waiting, no more wondering. You replace her absence with structure. You replace heartbreak with routine. Every action, from your workouts to your habits, is a silent declaration. I'm done letting pain make my choices. You don't have to explain it. You live it. What can you do? Create a healing ritual. Cold showers, early workouts, focused writing, structured time. Things that build resilience without needing approval. Stop telling people you're okay. Start showing them. The colder you become emotionally, the clearer you think, and in that clarity, the pain no longer controls you, it sharpens you. Psychologically, this transformation is unstoppable. The emotional chaos she left behind can't reach you here. People will notice the difference, but most importantly, you will. You'll move through life with stillness, not storms, with direction, not distraction. And when she sees you again, she won't recognize you, not because you've changed your frame. If you're ready to heal, not with hope, but with discipline, comment below. My cold isn't bitterness, it's power. You started this journey believing love was the answer, but now you realize it was coldness, detachment, that gave you the strength to rise. What seemed like the end was actually the beginning of your transformation. You didn't lose yourself. You found the strength to rebuild yourself. If you're ready to keep evolving and reclaim your power, like this video, subscribe and comment below. I am unstoppable. Stay strong. Keep building. Your future is yours to shape.